If you need immediate help, please call the National Substance Abuse and Mental Health Hotline at 1-800-662-HELP.
Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me go home and start over.
Welcome to Clean and Sober Radio, brought to you in part by Jefferson University Hospitals and Thomas Jefferson University, providing excellent clinical and compassionate care in the Philadelphia region, a proven leader in healthcare and education since 1825. And now, here are your hosts, Gary Hendler and Mark Sigmund.
Hey, hi, everybody, and thank you for joining Clean and Sober Radio out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Clean and Sober Radio features real people with real stories about addiction to drugs and alcohol. Mark Sigmund, what is new this week in recovery news?
So we got some good news. A survey, it's a Gallup survey that's been around for nearly 90 years, which checks on how much people are drinking in the United States. And what they're finding is that the number of U.S. adults who say they consume alcohol has fallen to a low 54%, the lowest by 1 point in the Gallup's nearly 90-year trend. Again, since 1939, they've been taking these numbers down, and what they're finding is that young adults have already become less likely to report drinking alcohol than a decade ago. It's only been accelerating. And there's a couple ways to look at this. In Europe, they're seeing the same trends, and they're worried that this is actually the calm before the storm, that it's going to start increasing. And what they're pointing out is that this is the after effects of the pandemic and the socioeconomic situation going on right now. But in the U.S., we're looking at it more optimistically, like this might be a long-term trend.
Okay, my take on it is this. The reason why the numbers are going down is because everybody's smoking dope and they're vaping, and I think all that cuts into people drinking.
You know, you may be right. And then you get at which one is better. And I would much rather they're out there smoking pot than drinking. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You agree?
Yeah,
I would
what
agree.
Else you got?
Well, that's the big story for the week.
Is that the big story?
That's the big story for the week. And, I just thought it was interesting that what they're finding, too, is that people are really paying attention to some of these medical issues that aren't just, everything from weight to liver issues, kidney issues, all that stuff. And that's why they're avoiding it.
Wait. Do you actually think, and not you, Mark, I don't think that somebody that is 14, 15, 18, 20 cares about their health.
I don't either.
At that age, nothing can get you.
I mean, I don't either. Maybe that's with the older adults, but I mean, you're right. At that age, you're thinking like, I'm never going to die, basically.
Right?
Yeah. So, well, we'll have to Clean and Sober Radio. We'll keep an eye on this, and we'll keep an eye on the trends as we always do.
Yeah.
And we'll keep you posted, listeners.
So that's one of the things that we do here.
Yes.
Is keep you informed of new things that are going on. Okay. Let's do this. We're going to take a break now. When we start the show, it will be a tribute to our buddy Marc Willig. And then our regularly scheduled program will come right after that, okay? So we'll be right back.
This is Clean and Sober Radio.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to out-science cancer.
What's happening? Brandon Novak here from Those Movies Jacks, or author of that addiction memoir, Dream Seller. Do me a favor and tune into Clean and Sober Radio with Gary Hendler.
610-632-8601. This is Clean and Sober Radio.
And we are back. So, we have some sad news to report to our audience. Our buddy Marc Willig passed last evening at 5:45, and Mark was a stable and essential part of the recovery community in the Philadelphia area for sure. and he struggled with medical issues for several years. And last night, he was taken out of his misery. And Mark and I, have done shows with him over the years, and he is how can I say this? I've never met anybody more connected to this recovery program than Marc Willig.
Yeah, we always talk about it in terms of like, Mark knows everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally knows that. If you bring up a name of somebody that you know in recovery from another county, he will know them.
Yeah.
And his program was so strong. I mean, even when he was sick, he was trying to make these in-person meetings, and such a spiritual guy, and just like he was just a great friend of the show.
And the attitude that he had, in spite of being in the hospital, having dialysis, and other ailments, he was so upbeat. I don't think I could ever do that. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't. Here it was spring days, summer days, and here he is, caught going in and out of the hospital or going in for hours to do dialysis. And he would still call up the show and just talk about his recovery, and he was always worried about everybody else.
That's right.
What it was.
That's right.
He was selfless that
Right.
way.
So he passed yesterday. I know a lot of his friends are watching or listening to the show today. There are no we don't know if there's going to be a service. Arrangements we have not heard yet. I think the best way to find that out would be to check Facebook, because his wife, Bernie, and we all, send out great vibes to her under these conditions. She'll post things, I'm sure, about any arrangements for Mark.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people will be showing up there. I remember first meeting Mark back in, I would say 2002.
Really?
Yeah, we used to go to the Plymouth Meeting Mall meeting,
right.
and I would see Mark there, and right around that time, and he was a lot younger at the time. He didn't have his health issues going on, and always just such a pleasant guy.
I didn't remember Mark, but he swore that he and I got high together.
Well, that
in
was the crazy
70s.
thing. Yes, he knew you, and for listeners, just so you know, he knew stories about Gary. Like he said he looked up to Gary back then.
That's really pathetic.
And he looked up to Gary with his gun and all his cool stuff. He looked up to Gary.
Yeah, he did. That's not a good thing, actually. But he must not have been that high, if he still remembers.
He still remembers.
He still remembers.
And we used to get just about anybody on the show. We'd say, "Do you know Marc Willig?" And they would say, "Yes, we know Marc Willig."
Yeah. So, if you want to call in during the show, give us a call. If you have any thoughts, about Mark, what you remember, give us a call at 610-632-8601. That's 610-632-8601. Did we take a break yet?
We did take a break.
We did a break.
Yes.
All right. Here's the star of the show coming on now. Steve C. is our guest today, and Steve is in very long-term recovery, over 30 years. Steve and I grew up together in the same area, although we weren't friends as kids. And this guy has come a long, long way, in spite of tragedy along the way. And Steve, welcome back to Clean and Sober Radio, buddy.
Thank you, Gary.
Took a long time to get you here. Took years to get you here.
My therapist, who I talk to regularly,
Yeah.
had told me, "Are they still asking you to go onto the radio?"
Oh, yeah? Yeah?
And I said, "Yes, it's a few weeks ago."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Yes." She is a really mild-mannered woman.
Yeah.
And she said, "Why don't you effing do it?"
Okay.
And that's when I called you.
Thank you.
You called me,
Thank
and
you
I
for the
accepted.
abbreviation, by the way. And so you feel all right?
Yeah.
I know you were. Listen, a lot of people come here. I don't care how big shot you are or famous, people get nervous coming on here.
Absolutely.
Mark and I used to get nervous doing the show. We don't anymore.
Right.
But it's understandable.
I feel better now that I'm talking.
Yeah.
Once you get talking, it's like we're sitting at a kitchen table
Exactly.
somewhere, isn't it?
And it's so wonderful because I listen to the show every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
So Steve C. Grew up in a place called Havertown, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Philadelphia, and middle to upper class neighborhood, and with two brothers, and what happened, Steve?
What happened?
Well,
Now, what was your what was your childhood like?
My childhood was great.
Yeah,
My father was a merchant with 3 clothing stores.
yeah,
And he, spent a lot of time with us. He would take us to the shore every weekend in the summer, or sometimes we had a house down there. And he was just interested in, being with the kids. Now, my one brother, Rick, is 4 years younger than me. And then Chip, my youngest brother, is 15 years younger than me. So Chip wasn't around when we were young. But my father, anything we wanted, anything we needed, my father, my grandfather, would get for us.
I know that, Steve, because you have told me stories. If they didn't give it to you, you took it, right?
We got it one way or another.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So, Mark, let me tell you something about Steve.
Yeah.
So, Steve in the neighborhood, Steve was several years older than me and other people, and he was like the big guy in the neighborhood. If you wanted dope, you went to Steve. Probably if you're looking for girls, you went to Steve. So he was highly idolized in Haverford Township.
So he was what I'm hearing is he was a man of many talents back
That's
then.
Absolutely.
Huh?
exactly right.
The go-to beeper
Major
guy.
manipulation.
Major
Did you have a
manipulator,
beeper?
right?
What's that?
Did you have a beeper back
No.
in the day?
Oh, I had a beeper, but not after I'd grown up, after I started working.
Oh, okay.
Steve, did you go to Woodstock?
I did.
Oh,
Right,
my
you went
gosh,
to
really?
Woodstock.
I went to I went to Woodstock in my 1967 Volkswagen camper. It was a van that we turned into a camper. We painted it like a tiger, and I have a picture of it on my phone. And 2 weeks before Woodstock, we went to the Atlantic City Rock Festival.
Oh, that was a big deal, man.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And on the way down to the Rock Festival, I went with my friend Chuck P. and Eddie D. And we were in my van.
Yeah.
And we had, always with us was pot and some pills.
Yeah.
Back then, we weren't doing cocaine yet, and booze.
Right.
And we had the floor built out so that we could hide everything underneath and then close it and lock it from underneath. So if they thought that they could open it, they could get it opened.
Steve, tell the story about when you owed a drug dealer money and they tied you up on a tree
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
until your father came and bailed you out.
Yeah, my mother. Yeah.
What happened?
Well, that was a later time when I was probably in my 30s.
Okay.
And I was when I was in my 30s, it was cocaine.
Right. And you
Quaaludes.
you lived on a farm, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I had a farm.
Yeah, you had a farm.
Yeah, we bought a farm. I was met partners in a couple health food stores starting in 1970
Health food.
with my organic health food stores.
Yeah.
Because we knew that if we opened them, there were a lot of people getting into it, and we could make money legally. And it was one way of getting our illegal money into, legal.
Oh, okay.
And it was good. And I talked to my father, my brother, and I said, I want to buy a farm.
Yeah.
And they said, let's do it. And I put it together. We had a farm for a number of years.
So let me ask you. So you owed these guys money.
Oh, so
they
he-
actually tied you up into a
So
tree.
here's what happened. This is later. This is the cocaine days.
Oh, cocaine. Okay.
And this guy, Kenny Jones,
Yeah.
God rest his soul, was a guy that used to front me cocaine.
Yeah.
And I used to, between myself and a couple of my partners, we used to get a lot of, we owed him 6 figures often, over $100,000. And we used to just sell it, and then pay him off. And one time, I had a couple kilos of cocaine in my car.
Kilos.
Yeah, of cocaine in my car. And somebody told somebody, and they stopped me, and they stole it from me. They pulled guns on me, and they stole it from me.
Kilos of cocaine must be worth millions and
No,
millions.
no. Back then, it was, I think the kilos in the 70s were like 18 or 20,000 a piece.
Okay.
But we had a few of them, and I called the guy up and I said, Kenny, I said, I got a problem. I just got, this stuff was stolen from me. And he said, you got to get the money together. I owed him $75,000. And, I didn't have the money.
So would they tie you up? Yeah.
So he told me, come on out and let's talk about it. And I went out to his farm out in Chester County, and he got me, and he had a buddy there with him, and they tied me to this tree with rope.
At the time, it wasn't funny, right? But now it is.
And
Now it's
he said, you have to get the money brought out here.
No.
And I said, I don't know where to get it. And he said, he knew that my parents were pretty well off.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't think there were cell phones then. And I said, let me make a couple phone calls. And I called my mother. And my mother, I told her what happened. And this is, she was used to things like this from me.
She must have been so proud of you, Steve.
Well, she got involved with Governor Shapp in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I know she was involved.
And
in,
she ended up teaching at Villanova.
Yeah.
She was never went to college or anything. She was teaching courses on drugs.
Yeah.
And society. And so what happened was she said, send one of the boys over and I'll give you what I have at the house. Mm-hmm. And she had $30,000 at the house. Wow. And one of my friends brought it up, and the guy let me pay him $30,000. And then over the next 6 months, he gave me cocaine again. And then over the next 6 months, I paid him off. But
hey, if you're just joining us now, first of all, we're remembering Marc Willig. And if you have any thoughts about Mark, or you have any thoughts about Steve, who we're interviewing right now, give us a call at 610-632-8601. Talk about Steve, talk about Mark.
Yeah, and, I'm picturing Steve tied to a tree.
Yeah.
And did you think, you were done, they were going to kill you or something? Or
I never thought that.
you didn't? Did they have guns out?
I always thought my modus operandi was that I could always manipulate myself out of anything. Yeah. And that's because of the drugs.
Yeah, sure.
And also I was doing Quaaludes at the time. And, I don't have to tell Gary, but, doing the Quaaludes, made you think that you were the king of the universe. And it was just a surprising adventure. And we did them for many years.
Many years.
Many years.
So, Steve, you went to Haverford High School.
Right.
You graduated.
Right.
Did you go to college?
I did not. I wanted to go to Michigan because it's where the hippies were and the students for Democratic Society.
Yeah, Steve was, do you know what hippies are?
Absolutely.
He was a hippie, man.
He was a hippie, and I don't want to digress here, but just the fact that you went to Woodstock, to me, is the coolest thing ever. And but just a quick question, and we're going right back to when you walked into Woodstock. Did people know this is a huge deal, or was it like every other concert back then? Then you look back and you're like, wow.
Here's what we did. We went to the Atlantic City Rock Festival.
Yeah.
And from there, we drove up to Lake Wallenpaupack in Pennsylvania.
Poconos.
And we had 3 different vehicles with about 20 people. And we were all going to go to Woodstock. And I was hearing Woodstock advertised on the radio and everybody talking about it. And in some of the magazines off, not the regular newspapers, but the hippie magazines, they were talking about it. So I said to the whole group, I said, it's going to be very crowded. Let's go 3 days early. And we drove up. There was nobody there except for the people building the stages. And we went up behind the stage on the hill, and we took a campsite. And then over the next 3 days, 600,000 people came.
Steve, but was it, what my images were, because I was actually too young to go there, was it muddy all over the place? Was it raining?
Some days rained.
And where did you sleep? In the van?
Yeah. I had my own bed in the van. Yeah.
Of course you did. Everybody else slept
Everybody
outside.
on the
Exactly. Intense.
Intense.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
We were there for a week.
Oh, my gosh.
Because we got there 3 days early, and then after it was over, we didn't want to follow all the people out because we could see, we were up on the hill, we could see everybody from our campsite. And we waited 3 days before we left. So we were there 6 days and then 3 days to get
Was
home.
this in 1969?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What month was it?
I think it was August, I think.
It was August,
Yeah.
so the weather was warm enough. And
It was beautiful. And they had a lake there. And my cousin Danny there, Danny S.,
yeah,
rode his Harley with us,
yeah.
you know.
Did you use drugs while you were there, Steve?
Here's what I did.
Yeah.
I took 55 pounds of pot with me.
55
Of
pounds.
and we had 1,000 hits of acid. And I was going to take them to sell them. And my partners were with me. And we decided to give it all away. And we gave it all away.
You know, we're laughing right now, okay? And the listeners got to know, we're having fun laughing. But, you know, Steve is one of the lucky and fortunate people, like Mark and you and me, that we overcame all this stuff.
Right.
And we're okay now. If it wasn't, if Steve's story wasn't good like this, we wouldn't be laughing and having fun with it.
Exactly.
But the stories are great, you know? I mean, Steve, when we talk, you know, we can get into when we first hooked up again together.
Oh, my God.
Let's look. Here's the deal. If you're just listening to us and you want to watch us, go to Facebook. Go to our Facebook page, Clean and Sober Radio, and you can watch Mark, Steve, and myself. Brad's in here too. Tyler's on the other side of the glass. You can watch us do this show. It makes it more fun. Again, the number is 610-632-8601. And we have a gang of people that are watching us right now. We want to recognize them. Judge Christopher Maddox is watching. Mimi Dorshu. Hello, gentlemen. We haven't heard from Mimi in a while.
I know, baby.
Kathy Wolf Collin from Coral Springs, Florida. Let's see. Judge Maddox says, we miss Mark. Have a great weekend. I'm from Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania. Mike Burke, Media, Pennsylvania. Tracy Marcus Heffron. I don't know, Trace, what this means. Gary Mack is waiting for me to serve his food to him. Maybe Mark. I don't know.
Well, you think I mean, who knows what she's talking about there, Mark?
Well, not you.
Yeah, I mean.
All right. Like Tracy, I love Tracy. Tracy was a great friend of Mark's. Grew up with him. And she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. Michael Forbes is watching. Lisa Harris, my thoughts and prayers are with everybody who knew Mark. Do you have anything more? There's a lot here. I just can't go through everything. Right
Lou
now.
Montana.
Okay, what did Lou have to say?
Lou is just watching. He's one of these guys that went on like 4 times and got cut off, so you see him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. You know, you got the rest of them there.
Again, if you're just joining us, first of all, Marc Willig passed last night. And he is, you know, I don't like when people say he's in a better place, because a better place would be here and healthy. Yeah. But he's out of his misery.
He is. And you got to think he did some, we talked about it, he had some good shows with us on Clean and Sober Radio.
Yeah.
And the guy loves music, like more than most people I've ever known.
You know, he's a saxophone player.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And you know, he was a big Deadhead too, you know, and he just loved any kind of music. He knew whoever the person that wrote the song is, engineered the song. I mean, the guy was like an encyclopedia of music.
Yeah. Steve, you know, even through all this trauma that he was going through, his attitude was unbelievable, you know? You know, he would say to me, I'm in so much pain, I don't want to take pain meds. I said, listen, man, you got to take the pain. It's not a slip.
Right.
You got to get out of pain.
Exactly.
You know?
Absolutely. And it brings up that whole thing when there's something that bad going on, right? It's like, how do you deal with that in recovery? You know, and he was still calling people all the time and, you know, just staying with his supports.
Yeah. It's a big loss for us and also for the recovery community.
Yeah, he will be greatly missed.
He definitely will. Okay, let's take a break, and we'll be right back with Steve C.
This is Clean and Sober Radio.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to out-science cancer.
Hey, this this is Jackie Martling, and I listen to Clean and Sober Radio. This is still Jackie Martling, and you should listen to Clean and Sober Radio. Everybody should listen to Clean and Sober Radio.
610-632-8601. This is Clean and Sober Radio.
And we are back with Steve C. I grew up with Steve C. He's a regular guy, and he's one of the success stories in recovery. So, Steve, okay, let's talk about your wives.
Yeah, well, before we get there, let me just say
Go
a
ahead.
couple of things. So I like to say that I drank and did drugs one time from when I was 13 till I was 44. And that included alcohol, Quaaludes, a lot of pot and hashish, and
Well, Steve, that's good because if
Quaaludes.
you didn't do all that, you wouldn't be sitting here, okay?
so
You got a ticket.
You got
To the show.
I was married to my first wife for 10 years,
Right.
Suzanne.
And that
That's
was
when I
when
had
you-
the farm.
Right, you had a farm, yeah.
And I was working,
Yeah.
and I got into real estate,
Yep.
1973.
Yeah.
And to this, next month I'll be in real estate, commercial real estate. It'll celebrate 52 years.
Okay.
Because I'm 76 years old.
Okay.
And so after that, we broke up. We got divorced. I sold the farm. I moved back to Philly, and that was the Quaalude days. And I had a friend, Lisa R., who, God rest her soul, she used to bring me Quaaludes. She would get them for me, and I used to get them in the bottles. I didn't have to buy 10 at a time or something. They came in bottles of either 100 or 500. And I said, "Where do you get these Quaaludes?" She said, "I have a friend. Do you want to meet her?" I said, "Absolutely." And I walked into this house in Gladwin, and on the dining room table were 2 bottles of 500 each Quaaludes and 4 bottles of 100 Quaaludes, and I fell in love. And I interacted with that woman for a number of months, and 2 years later we got married. That was my second wife, Judy, and we had a crazy life for 10 years. Took me into the 90s. And
You got arrested multiple times with her?
Oh, yeah, multiple times arrested. The last time I got arrested was a DUI, Lower Merion Township, and I got surrounded by 4 cop cars because they knew who I was. And they took me to jail, and Judy, whenever I didn't show up, Judy would call the police, and she called up the sergeant on duty, and she said, "Is he there?" And the sergeant said, "He's here. He's in a paper suit. He's in the back cell, and he hasn't hung himself yet."
Okay.
And that's what my life had become.
Wow.
2 weeks later, Christmas Day, 1993, we were at my father's house in Havertown, and we were drinking booze. We ran out of booze. We still had some drugs. And Judy said, "I'll go out and get some booze." And she left. She went out. She hit a patch of ice, went through the windshield, and got killed.
Yeah.
And that was the last day, this Christmas Day, 1993,
And you haven't used
that I got high
you got sober right away, didn't you, Steve?
right away. I've been sober 31 years, 8 months.
Isn't that amazing? That horrible. When that happened, I was really thinking. I said this to Steve. That's really a case of she died to save you.
Exactly. And I know that in my heart.
I know you do. I know.
And a year and a half later, I had to go to court because I had had 5 DUIs. Luckily, I had gotten out of the first 4 because the constable in Narberth, where I lived, is a guy that I smoked pot with in high school. And he would always, I would go in there, I was supposed to be in jail. And he would just say,
He was the judge. He wasn't the constable.
yeah, $300 fine, $300
Oh, my
fine.
gosh.
It was incredible.
But Steve, didn't I used to take you up to Montgomery County?
1 weekend I got. Remember you took me
I
up?
took him to the jail that I'm director of. I took him there for the weekend.
And it's unbelievable because 5 DUIs
Yeah.
Yeah.
these days would be like
State prison.
Oh, wait,
No
I
time.
started 1979 was my first one, and my last one was 1993.
wow.
So, Steve, after Judy died,
Yeah.
you got right into the program, didn't
Correct, yes.
you? Did you find a sponsor?
I did, you.
Is he good? Is he a good sponsor?
You've been my sponsor for 31 years, 8 months.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Amazing.
I'm always learning new information. I had no idea.
Amazing.
And I mean,
Gary and I relate to so much.
yeah.
And,
The reason, okay, let me, before we get to the next
okay,
chapter.
go ahead.
So, I was sober for maybe 8-9 years in the late 80s.
Oh, right.
And I was doing a real estate project.
Yeah.
And I thought, hey, Steve's in real estate. Maybe he can help out. So I call Steve, who's still ripped up with drugs. I'm sober. And he wants to check me out to see if I'm okay. So he calls somebody who we both know. And Steve, what happened? What happened with that?
So I called this guy, Todd, and I said, I got a call from Gary Hendler, and he wants me to help him. He was developing some houses. He wants me to, my company, to sell the houses.
Yeah.
And I said, and he said, go see him, go talk to him. So at this time, I was doing so much cocaine and selling real estate, I had to keep 3 or 4 dry shirts in my trunk. And whenever I went to my next appointment, I had to change my
Because you'd
shirt.
sweat through.
Because I sweat through all my shirts. And I always wore bow ties. That's why they call me Bow Tie Steve.
Oh, you're not wearing both?
I don't wear bow ties. I don't wear any ties anymore. Different world.
Good.
But they used to call me Bow Tie Steve.
Yeah.
But I called Gary, and I came, and he said, come on over. And I went over, and I changed my shirt. And he came up to me when I was changing my shirt. He said, what are you doing?
Did you know?
In the middle of the street, right in my trunk. Because I said, well, I'm coming to an appointment with you. And he found out that, I had called. And he said, what are you doing? And soon thereafter is when Judy died.
Oh, well, right after that, huh?
Soon thereafter. Yeah.
Soon thereafter. So, if we could regress one time, Steve and I grew up in the same area, but we weren't friends,
Yeah.
So we rekindled our friendship. I know we're telling a lot of ridiculous stuff, but it's sort of fun. I had the Quaalude clinics. Steve shows up, Steve, right? What happened
With what?
when you showed up at the Quaalude clinic?
Oh, Gary owned the Quaalude Clinic with a couple of his buddies. And my friend Phil said, there's a new clinic that opened up in Philadelphia. Let's go there. I said, what kind of clinic? He said, a Quaalude Clinic. He said, all you have to do, sign up, pay him $60, go see the doctor for 20 minutes, and you'll get a prescription for 40 Quaaludes. And I walk in, and standing in the middle of the room, there's like 40 people waiting for these doctors. Standing in the middle of the room with a big 357 strapped on, no, he didn't have a coat on or anything, under his arm, and it's Gary Hendler. And I went up and he said, what's
357 Magnum?
Can you, I'm listening to this and going to I'm actually, I'm not, how can I explain this? It's funny and then it's not funny. It's so pathetic.
right?
But that's how we rekindled at the Quaalude Clinic.
Right?
It's
It's and then of course, that was 1981.
Right.
I went into rehab in 82.
Did you have to worry about people robbing the clinic? Is that why? You know what I mean? Was it?
They had the
something-
gun.
We had no idea what was going on.
You just had it just in case.
We just wanted that doctor to show up every day and write the
Right.
scripts.
Wow.
But that a year later, I went into rehab.
Gotcha.
And I was still going.
Yeah.
I was crazy. And then I met my wife, and then I had.
So after Judy
So
passed,
10 years later,
10 years, okay,
she passed.
she passed. Okay,
I get sober.
okay. So Steve, so I'm a little unclear about this. After Judy passed, you're in the program. What was your life like when you got sober at the beginning?
Well, first of all, I never went back to the house. We had that condo over in Oak Hill.
Yeah.
I never went back to the
Never.
house.
Okay.
I called one. So this is 1993.
Yeah.
I had been in the real estate business for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
I had been back in Philadelphia since 1977, and I had a good relationship. Even though I was getting high, I was selling all this big apartment buildings. I had a great career.
Yeah.
I could never hang on to money because I was spending it all on drugs.
Yeah.
And I called one of my buddies,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, I'll give you an apartment. I went downtown, and I knew people that were sober, and I called a couple people, and there was every day there were people coming and taking me to meetings.
Right. So Steve is one of these one and done guys. He gets treatment, and he's done.
I never went to rehab.
You never
Never
was
went to any-
Judy in rehab?
Yeah, Judy was in
Judy-
rehab.
You never went to rehab.
No.
Yeah.
Was it-
You can do it.
Was it just such a shot across the brow of
Whatever.
she passed
Look,
away?
I say that I'm sober, and I say this, and every
Yeah.
time I share, I'm sober by the grace of God and
Yeah.
Goddess. I give them equal credit for my sobriety because I don't know.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I started working, and so I had a good job selling real estate. I'm still working for the same company 31 years. They said to me, these are guys that I knew.
Yeah.
They said, you get sober and you come work for us.
Yeah.
And the day after Judy died, I called Ken up
Yeah.
and he said, come on in. And I've been with them 31 years.
Wow.
And I'm a senior advisor there now.
Yeah. And you jumped right into the program, Steve. You surrounded yourself with people, and
I still do.
You did everything right.
I still do. You know, I have a regular life now.
Yeah.
But I still go to a couple meetings a week or 3 meetings a week. And
okay, so that's 1993.
Right.
And then you get back into life.
Okay.
Okay. When did you meet?
Okay, so then for the next 15 years, I was dating some women. I was going out. I was hanging around. I was going to the meetings. You know, I traveled a little bit. And then one of my friends from the program, Doug R., in 2008.
2008. So from 93 to 2008, you were not married.
That's correct.
Or 2000, whatever it was when you got married. Yeah.
Well, so my friend Doug, so when I was living with Judy and we had all the Quaaludes, I had lots of friends that would bring people to me to buy the Quaaludes. And one of the women, Lisa R., had this friend Janice I, and starting in 88 or 87 or 85, this woman would come with her, and I was married, and this woman like overwhelmed me. But she was going out with a good friend of mine, and then she went on the road. She was a hairdresser and makeup artist for the Hollywood movies. Went on the road, and then in 2008, I was invited to a Mardi Gras party at my friend Doug's house in Fairmount, and I walk in 2008. I'm sober 15 years, and I walk in, and across the room.
Okay, take your time. Take your time.
I see Janice I.
Yeah.
And this is a woman that really, really meant a lot to me.
Beautiful.
And I hadn't seen her in 15 years.
Yeah.
And I walked up to her, right up to her. I said, I've been waiting for this for 15 years.
What'd she say? Get lost?
She said,
sucker?
I thought you were dead.
Did she? She heard.
I said, I couldn't be dead. I was waiting for you.
Hey, Steve had the lines, man.
I got to give you on that one. That was a good line right there.
Steve's slick, isn't it?
I mean, yeah.
And I said, so we were at this party, a lot of people around. I said, well, come, meet me for dinner. She said, I have a boyfriend. I said, just come for lunch then. Let's go to lunch. She said, I have a boyfriend. I can't do that, I said, who's your boyfriend? She said, Bruce B., somebody from Haverford that I knew. I said, you're a vegan. She was a vegan chef. She said, and he sold meat. And I said, it doesn't add up. She said, it's not for you to decide. Anyway, she went to lunch with me, and we had a great lunch. And she said goodbye. And I said, if you ever break up with Bruce, call me. 6 months later, I got a phone call.
Was she in the program?
No,
she wasn't.
Didn't need to be.
Yeah.
6 months later, I got a call. I took her to Spazo, right next to my house, and we had a great dinner. And this is interesting. I said, come on, stay over. She said, well, I don't want to have sex or anything like that. I said, no problem. We slept in the bed. I was a gentleman, and she left. And I said, I want to see you again. So I saw her next week. We were together for 13 years.
Oh, that's
and in August, 4 years ago, August 16th, we woke up and we couldn't breathe. I called the doctor, went to the hospital, and we had COVID. And she was type 1 diabetic, and she also had COPD. Because she had been a hairdresser, makeup artist. They didn't always wear masks.
Yeah.
And so I got out of the hospital after 3.5 weeks, and 3 weeks later, she passed.
Yeah.
And she was the love of my life.
Yeah.
And that was September 23rd will be 4 years. And I hopped back into the program, heavy duty.
Yeah. you didn't use after all of this stuff happened to you. You're a strong guy.
I was committed, you know.
Hey, listen, a lot of people responded to some stuff,
Okay.
Steve. I want to read, let me see. What did I just see? Well, Lisa Harris, my thoughts and prayers are with everybody who knew Mark. Tracy clarified what she said. She remembers always getting food at parties and weddings for Mark.
Yeah, I could see
Okay.
that. Mimi Dorshu. Oh gosh, Steve, so much loss. I'm so sorry. May God bless the memory of your Judy. And then, I'm sure she would add on there. Janice. Yeah. Oh, man.
John Logue met Mark 27 years ago. He was always kind and supportive to me and everyone he knew. We bonded over music and recovery. No more suffering. Rest in peace, my friend.
And doesn't that capture Mark right there? Bonded over music. And Steve, I gotta ask you, so you went, did the thought ever cross your mind of using again after losing your second wife?
No.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. I jumped back in and picked up my meetings.
Yeah.
And helped a bunch of people. I was in service in different groups, and lots of friends reached out to me. Lots of sober friends.
Yeah.
And lots of friends I used to get high with that didn't need to be sober. They let it go years ago.
Steve, did you ever think when these tragedies occurred that you were going to use to get out of the pain?
Never.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew in my soul, the soul of souls, what it had done to me and why I can't do it again. Because I knew if I did it one time,
Game
it
over.
it'd probably be the end of my life.
Yeah.
And
So, Steve, he calls me to be a sponsor. What? What is this? I was honored when he called me.
Well, I knew Gary a long time. I'm 76. How old are you?
Whatever.
Yeah, 72
Your
or
brother's
something, yeah.
age. I grew up with his brother, Dr. Ricky.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you're the only person I've sponsored for this amount of time.
Yeah, it's great. 31 years, 8 months.
Have I given you good advice?
Beautiful.
I said to him, listen, the Quaaludes are done. During the week, I'm talking about. Weekends, all right.
We've had so much fun.
You guys cracked me up with these Quaaludes.
Yeah, and we have so many
What are you
people.
looking at?
Just phone call.
There's a phone call?
Yeah, phone call.
Take
I think somebody's on there.
Oh, we got a phone call.
Yes.
Welcome to Clean and Sober. Who's this?
Betsy Green.
Betsy.
Hello,
Betsy.
Betsy.
Hey, hi.
Betsy, how are you? Talk to Steve-O.
I am. I just want to tell everybody, I knew Steve when we were both using. I bought drugs from Steve, and then we got sober around the same time, or a little before or after. And Judy, his wife, I sponsored her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so we really have known each other for so long. We were both in real estate. We still work together, even now. And, we've always been there for each other.
That's nice.
And, I mean, this is amazing, Steve. I just turned it on, and there you were. I love you, honey.
I love you, Betsy.
Isn't that great?
Lickety split.
I know.
Yep.
South
Mickey
Street,
Lubell.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sobriety amongst friends.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Nothing better.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people that we are connected to that are sober.
Yeah, I know. We're the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to keep watching you. I love you. Let's talk.
Love you, Bets.
Bye.
Be well, Bets.
Very nice.
I just want to
Thanks,
say this one
Gary.
thing. Mimi Dorshu, I don't know if you read this. I would love to hear more about your commitment to your sobriety, Steve. How does your commitment stay so steady and strong? Please share.
So,
That's from Mimi Dorshu.
was Mimi from Broomall?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. So anyway, in 1971, when all the gurus were coming around, I had gotten some meditation techniques from a couple different teachers. And the one teacher was this 13-year-old boy from India.
Oh, wait, do we want to hear the rest of this story, Steve?
Just taught me how to meditate. You know, I was in a room with 150 people, and we learned how to meditate. And I'm still doing the same meditation today, 53 years later.
Is it transcendental meditation?
No. And
So wait, you went from medication
to meditation. Yeah.
Good.
But I was still getting high.
Yeah.
You know? And the point is that that's been with me. My friends have been with me. When I got sober, I had so many friends like Gary and other people who were already sober, and they reached out to me because that's the kind of relationship that I had with so many people.
Great. Hold on. I'm getting a signal. We got to take a break.
Okay.
We're coming back with Steve C. Again, our phone number is 610-632-8601.
This is Clean and Sober Radio.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to out-science cancer.
Hey, this is Mark Stein from the classic rock band Vanilla Fudge. Keep on rocking, Ellipso. Good luck to everybody and all the best.
610-632-8601. This is Clean and Sober Radio.
And welcome back. We're talking to Steve C., a friend of mine we grew up with, and he's long-term recovery.
And Mimi's from Broomall.
Yes. Is she?
Oh, yeah, I know who it is.
That.
And our brother's name is Ivan.
I don't know.
Gamma Swim Club.
You learn some. We get emails during the week, Steve. And, so Beth S. from Montclair, New Jersey. Hey, guys, you always have great guests and subject matter. Thank you. That's good.
That's
Very nice.
Let's see. Let me give another one. We'll get back to Steve. Sid I. from Morgantown, West Virginia. I've been clean for over 11 years and enjoying this chapter of my life. Can we talk more about success stories and less about overdoses? I think that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, starting out with the drop in alcohol rates, listening to Steve, who's been through so much and stayed sober.
Yeah.
And still sober.
Well, after all these years.
After all these years.
Right, Steve?
Look at you. How many years do you have now?
43.
Beautiful.
He's
my hero.
No, listen.
Gary's my hero.
Steve.
I knew you when you were getting high for years. And I knew what I did for years. And when I watched Gary, if ever I never really had much of a thought, but if every once in a while if I had a thought about it, it never got obsession or anything. I would say, just do what Gary does. Don't get high.
Wow. Yeah. You know, Steve sits on my board of directors at Clean and Sober Media.
Yes.
He's a very valued...
Thank you.
I don't know what, but he's very valued.
Keeps the show going.
Do you know, sitting at this table, there's over 100 years of sobriety.
It's unbelievable.
You got 30 what?
One.
And how much is 31 and 43? 72. And
72 and 23.
And 23. We're close to 100 years. Is that amazing?
95, yeah. It's beautiful.
95.
And the key is to the people that are listening.
Yeah.
If you're having trouble, don't be shy. Go to a meeting or call someone you know who's sober to ask. And it's always better to do that because you can ask them to take you to a meeting and you're not walking in alone. Mm-hmm. Because, listen, if I got sober, anybody in this world could get sober.
Yeah.
And I know Gary's the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he told me, he used to tell me that. He said, you remember what I did? I mean, we were cuckoo-boo.
Did you ever dream, after you lost your second wife, like that this was really it? I mean, did you, that, hey, I'm going to stay sober from now on? Was it just one day at a time? Or
yeah, it was everything in my life. Dreams, each day, people that I hung out with. I mean, I have friends that I started. When I walked into the room, I was with two of my buddies who were already sober. And all they did was keep introducing me to people, go out to dinner, go to I still go to music. You know, music was one of my best things. 400 Grateful Dead concerts.
That's
you
freaking
know.
awesome.
Yeah. And all kinds of stuff, you know, like that.
You know,
But-
Steve, you know, you got involved. You know, Mark talks a lot, and we talk a lot about do not isolate when you get into recovery.
Exactly.
That's the kiss of death.
That is. And I get calls from people who say, what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'll pick you up in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know. And I don't care what anybody says. I know what works. And what works is being with other sober people.
Yeah. That doesn't mean you can't be with people that aren't so.
No.
It's just don't
yeah.
be with people that are using.
Exactly.
You know.
And I mean, I go out to dinner. If I'm dating a little bit, I go out to dinner with women that, you know, drink wine or, you know, it doesn't bother me.
Do you want to give your phone number out here so if any women are looking right now?
Yeah.
No.
Huh? You sure, Steve?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got every line in the
all
book.
good.
So,
It's all good.
you know.
I'm
all
telling you,
good.
this guy here growing up, I used
Yeah.
to hear about him all the time. Steve C. Steve.
I kind of feel left out. I kind of sometimes
all
wish I was
good.
buried. I mean, not buried.
You mean-
Born.
born.
Born a little
all good.
earlier.
You were
and knew
born
you
too
guys.
late. There was
I
a
was born
song.
too late. Yeah, missed Woodstock, missed all this
All
stuff.
good.
But in a lot of ways, you're lucky.
I am, because I would have been done if I was hanging out with him
Yeah.
back in the day.
Or him.
Or him, or Steve.
You know, one of the things that was with me, I had friends who were heroin addicts.
Yeah.
I never did heroin. And somewhere in my history, I think that helped me somehow. I don't know how. But you know.
Steve, do you think, I sometimes think this, all the pills and everything, did it affect us physically now?
Well, you know, 2 years ago, I had a heart attack.
I know.
when that smoke cloud came over from Canada.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now.
I know.
And I was 247. Today, I was 188. And my wife got me started on that. We used to go swimming 3 mornings a week. And I do the chair yoga still. And I do the 7-minute workout still. And I'm 76 years old.
He's like, you know what, Brad? He's like the modern Jack LaLanne. Do you remember that guy? Sure. Mark doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I have
Right.
no idea. As long as
He was an
the whole younger
listen,
generation
he was an
doesn't
older
know.
guy who was like built like he was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Oh.
He could pull trains.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, again, you know, we're talking to Steve C. And, you know, this doesn't mean that we're not still thinking about Mark.
Right.
We got another thing is just to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Bernadette Butler Willig says this is a great show. Mark loved being part of it, and we got to say we're very sorry for your loss, Bernadette. And he was a huge part of this show.
And
Beautiful.
Bernadette, how are you related to Mark?
She'll have to post it.
She'll post it, but that's
Yeah.
really nice. I mean,
Yeah.
Seriously, it's a big. I think to summarize Mark, if I could, this is a big loss to Mark Sigmund and myself, and a huge loss to the recovery community and also Mark's family, of course.
Yes, yes. What a wonderful soul. And I'm sure he's with us today because he loved the radio show.
He
I
loved
mean,
it.
he
He
loved being
loved it.
on the radio show.
Yeah.
He called in. There was a time when he was calling almost every week.
From the
I love it.
hospital.
From
too.
the hospital called. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So listen, everybody, keep Mark in your prayers. I'm sure if there's some kind of arrangements, it'll be on Facebook in some way, and just remember him of what a great super guy he was.
Yeah, and it's Bernadette Butler Willig is his wife.
Oh,
So
right.
Oh my God! I call her Bern.
Right.
I never. Oh, how stupid am I? I mean, how incredibly stupid am I? You know. Bern, of course, we're thinking. I'm hoping you're pleased with the show that we're doing today and all the beautiful remarks people are making about your husband.
and you being with him every step of the way
Oh,
in
she-
terms of
she
what
was
we've
so incredibly supportive.
read your
Fabulous.
posts at the hospital with him. And
Yeah. So, Bern, we send our thoughts, our prayers, and our love to you, okay? And if you need anything from us, and we mean it, and I'm sure many people have said this to you, we're all a phone call away.
I have just one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
If there's anybody out there
Yeah.
that doesn't think they can get sober or is scared to try to get sober, the key to all of this is to call someone you know who is sober and ask them for help.
Yeah, and don't be ashamed. There's
And don't
nothing.
be ashamed of anything, because it's the same thing they had to do.
Yeah, you're strong when you ask for help. You're not weak.
Absolutely. Unbelievable.
That's good. Steve, thanks, brother.
Thank you.
This was cool?
Fabulous.
Excellent. Remember, if you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, help is available. Please call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP for Clean and Sober Radio. I'm Gary Hendler.
I'm Mark Sigmund.
Thanks for joining us, and thank you for all the support you give us each and every day.
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves. I hope we pass the auditioning.
We hope we passed the audition, did we? Have a great weekend, everybody.